And hey, Facebook, good morning. Good morning. So I was just telling Instagram, I got on my Chiquita banana wrap this morning, but I wanted to hop on and do a Facebook Live. Okay, so y'all listen. Bear with me with my Chiquita banana look. So I've been wanting to do more lives. There's been so many things that have been happening in my life, right? And so a lot of times we get so preoccupied with work and doing all these different things. I've been working on so many projects and doing a lot of stuff. And so, hey, Gina, happy 50th, friend. I saw you celebrating your birthday. And so I think that's the Gina that just had the 50th birthday. Is that you? Make sure it's the right Gina. So anyway, guys, I want to talk to y'all today about how to know when it's time to quit the wrong thing. How to know when it's time. Is that Gina? Just making sure. How to know when it's time to quit the wrong thing. So okay, so let me just give y'all a backstory. And if this is your first time joining me, hey, my name is Nicole Cooper, owner of YourSixFigureYear.com, okay, Your Six Figure Year, where we give you a focus formula. If you guys are struggling with focus and have things you know you need to focus on, you can head on over there and get our free focus formula blueprint. But and that's YourSixFigureYear.com. But today I want to talk to you guys about how to know when it's time to quit the wrong thing, okay? How to know when it's time to quit the wrong thing. So here's the reality, y'all. Here's the reality. Hey, Kenya. Girl, Kenya, I know you know this because your 1-minute videos have been really good about that. But here's the thing, y'all. Every single one of us have internal intuition. And that intuition, it gives us signs. It gives us, we get these feelings, we get these notifications within our spirit, within our bodies, within our souls that there's something out of alignment. A lot of times we tell ourselves we don't know what it is, but the reality is a lot of times we do, but we don't want to address it, or we don't give ourselves permission to be quiet long enough to hear what that thing is telling us that we need to do. And usually, guys, listen, when something is so scary, when you know you have to walk away from something that was comfortable and it was safe and it was predictable and it was just this comforting place for you, it's very hard to just walk away when things are good, because you have all this unknown. It's unpredictable. Like, what am I walking away from to walk into? So let me tell y'all about my quitting journey. You know, for the past, I would say for the past 8 years, 2007, y'all probably know the story. I lost everything, right? And when I lost everything, I was desperate. I was in a space of desperation, and I was looking for a vehicle to be able to learn how to generate income. So I was in network marketing at the time, and I knew I didn't want to do the traditional ways to build network marketing businesses. So I discovered this thing called how to build a network marketing business on the internet. Somebody loaned me money to join a company. When they loaned me that money, I was able to use my internet marketing skills and get to 6 figures in less than 9 months and have all this financial success. And that was in 2009. But in 2010, I began to feel that I needed to make a change. The problem was I was at the peak of my career, making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, and I knew I needed to get out of that company. And I remember telling myself, we were in London and we were shooting these videos in front of Buckingham, I think it's Buckingham Palace, right? We were standing in front of Buckingham Palace, in front of the water fountains with the golden archangels, and all my peers were shooting videos about this company. And it was me and Lanika. And I remember when we were shooting these videos, I couldn't say the company out my mouth. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I'm not supposed to be doing that anymore. That was just a bridge to get me back on my feet to do what I need to do, right? So in that year, 2010, y'all, I had this vision to do all these different things. But I was afraid. I was scared because I have built up the ability to have communities of support, and I didn't know what it would look like to branch out on my own, to be able to start from scratch to generate that income. But I started doing some things, and guess what? It didn't take long for me to get to $10,000 a month, to $15,000 a month, because I learned that when you have a skill, to do something, it doesn't matter what platform in which you switch that skill to pursue, you're always going to be able to do well because you have the skill set. That's why skills are so critical. Trade is so critical. There's an article out now that says that America has pumped for all these people to go get college degrees when the very urgent need that this nation has is people with trade skills, right? So anyway, I knew I had the skill. I knew I could take the skill and generate income and whatever it was that I was able to do. And I did. I launched a content creation company. I started doing training courses. I started doing all this stuff. But there was still something inside of me saying, Nicole, nope, there's so much more you're supposed to do. Well, here's the deal. And here's danger. Here's danger in having people tell you what you would be good at, right? Well, I started hearing what people were saying. Nicole, you would be really good if you did this. Nicole, you would be really good if you did that. Nicole, you would be really good if you pursued this. Nicole, this will be a perfect fit for you. You would kill this, right? And more opportunities. Because here's the thing. When people see your gifts and your skill sets and opportunities present themselves to you, it's very easy to be persuaded that this path is a good fit for me because I can be good at this. But here's lesson number one. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you should do it, right? Just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you should do it. Because a lot of times, if you're not careful, your very skills can put you in a position of major distraction, okay? Of major distraction. And I'm going to tell you a nugget number two. So just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should do it. Well, Nicole S. Cooper was persuaded by words of people, because when you are intimidated to go out and do the thing that is unknown and big and scary, you go back into what you know and you fall back into these habits of doing what is safe and doing what is easy. And so I got back into the industry again. And yes, I had success. I think I got into another company, made $800,000, right, in a couple of years, and became second top female earner. But even when I got into that position, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. That's why God's grace is amazing, because even when we make real big decisions that are against what we should be doing, and even though there's a great opportunity, but you know it's against what you're supposed to be doing, God will still give you grace in certain arenas, and he'll still allow those platforms to position you for your purpose. I'll get to that in a second, right? So anyway, I said yes to what people said I would be good at. And guess what? I was good at it. And guess what? I made a lot of money in it. But there's still this internal nudge that's saying, Nicole, you know that there's something so much bigger for you to do. Now I'm gonna let you do this over here, but you know you need to get on track to what I've assigned you to do. So what did I do? Once again, in 2014, she quits. And she says she's gonna pursue the thing that she's supposed to be doing. And so the funny thing is that I started getting all these people who have been with me for years saying, Nicole, do you realize what you're called to do? Do you understand the gift that is on your life? Do you understand what's happening for you? Like, y'all would come to me and tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And even though I was doing good over here, I had my social media family tapping me on the shoulder over here like, Nicole, what are you waiting for? 2014, she quits. And she says she's going to do that thing. And she thinks that she's seriously going to be committed to this assignment, right? But when you are so used to money rolling in, when you get accustomed to a certain lifestyle, you get really fearful if you have your money here and then it starts dwindling and you don't know what's going to refill this bucket, right? So you got the bucket, it's full, but it's like a little hole at the bottom of the bucket and it's slowly leaking out, and there's no water hose to fill that bucket back up. So there was no business, no company, no opportunity, no nothing filling that bucket back up. And you only got so much time before the bucket gets empty, right? So what happens? Well, like human nature, we panic and we get desperate and we start looking around. Okay, I'm just looking for a quick opportunity. Like, let me find a way to fill this bucket back up, right? So we go out here and we start looking. Now, here's what she did. This is what Nicole did. I got out here and I started watching social media, and I started seeing people get in this opportunity and all the hype up and down my Instagram feed and Facebook feed and all the people that I knew in my network was doing this new thing, right? And it looks like everybody was winning while I'm over here scratching my head saying, now how am I supposed to be doing this thing again, right? So the temptation in me and those words, Nicole, you would be so good at this and you would kill this and you would make a killing in this. Those words led me back down into that path that I was trying to exit from. And guess what? 2015, she says yes again to the very thing that she's been trying to walk away from. This is almost like being in a relationship with somebody that you know you're not going to marry, but you keep going back to them, right? But God's grace is sufficient, right? You say yes, you get back. I said yes, I get back in this thing once again. She kills it. Top recruiter, top this, lots of success, easy money, fast money, quick money, huge following, all the bells and whistles to make me feel like I'm in the right place. But all the internal signs that say you going completely against what you know you are assigned, called, and gifted and anointed to do. And so once again, y'all, I said yes in March. By November, I was saying it's time to go, right? And it don't matter how much money I made. I think, $250,000 in that short period of time. But there is nothing like making money doing the wrong thing, okay? I'm going to repeat that. There's nothing like making money doing the wrong thing. It's almost like saying, I need money right now. I'm going to go be a call girl. And I can have 50-year-old rich man coming to pick me up every single night, taking me out on dates and giving me all these luxuries. Am I going to enjoy all these bonuses that I'm getting from these men with all the money? Yes. But am I going to enjoy the experience? No, because I know that I am pimping out myself. I am pimping out myself for money, right? So I'm going to feel diluted and belittled and ashamed and everything else in the book, right? And that's kind of like what it was I was pimping out my gift in the wrong territory. I was hanging out in places where it wasn't where I was supposed to be. So 2015, she says yes in March. By November, she's like, it's time to go. I know this is not where I'm supposed to be, right? 2016 rolls around. God is good. I'm trying to figure it out, y'all. Still able to make 6 figures, just floating on faith, trying to figure out what to do and what my next move is. And the reality is that I knew what it looked like, but I had no idea where to start. I was saying to myself today, I said, it kind of felt like your parents dropped you off on a college campus. You didn't get accepted by this college. You don't have no dorm to stay in. You don't know how you're going to pay for it. And you're not registered for classes. You just on the campus. Like my parents said, I got to go to school. So I showed up, but I'm not even registered to be a student here. That's sometimes what it feels like when you're walking by faith is I'm on the college campus. I'm told that I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not a student. How do I make this work, right? So here we go. So 2016, we realized that some things had to shift and we make a decision. We're going to sell everything we own and we're going to pursue this path of freedom. We're going to get an RV. We're going to travel the country. God has such a sense of humor. That was my rationale, but God was like, no, I need you to let go of that overhead because I need you open and available where money is no longer your desperation to make decisions so that you can be in tune with what I'm telling you to do. Because if I can't get you from up underneath this level of expenses, you'll never be freed up to do the things that you are assigned to do. So in my head, we were selling everything so we could travel the world. But see, God had a totally different plan. He was like, you'll probably get to travel the world, but that ain't your plan for the next year or two. And surely enough, we sell everything and we end up in this position where it was about sitting in a holding tank to be available to listen to the instructions without the peer pressure of financial burdens, right? So that's 2016. We sell everything. 2017, we're in Florida. And during this time, y'all, I pulled out my blueprint. I was like, I'm a strategist. Like I know how to come up with making money is easy for me. Coming up with $1 million blueprint is easy for me. Figuring out how to make money from all different ways of life is easy. It's a gift I have. I grew up in that environment where money was all around me. It was easy. It was accessible. I knew that money exists. Everybody can have it if you want it. Like So the money piece was never the mystery for me. What was the mystery for me was, how am I supposed to be specifically and strategically aligned with exactly what I'm supposed to do while making money, right? Because to me, it seemed like two totally different paths. Be in alignment with your assignment over here, but go over here and make this money. And what I was telling one of my friends is that a lot of times we tell ourselves, I'm gonna go over here and do this thing so I can make the income to do this over here. But what we don't understand is sometimes they're two totally different paths. And so I had to begin to start figuring out, or I don't want to say I had to, I started figuring out how she's gonna make some money, right? So I start crafting up all these careful little strategies, and I start pursuing stuff. And y'all, let me tell you, I was working so hard to get this stuff to work. So hard. I was spending so much money. I was putting so much out, and nothing was working. And I was like, okay, I know it's not working. It's not working because I don't know what I'm doing. That's not the issue. I feel like it's not working because it's not in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. And I began to realize that I was using these bright ideas as distractions from being willing to be obedient and be patient enough to hear my directions for what it was that I was supposed to be doing. So let's go back to a week ago, right? So I kept telling my husband, I was like, something's not right. Like something is off, because you put so much energy and effort trying to force something to work. And you know, beyond a shadow of doubt, that I'm skilled. I know my stuff. Everything is all perfectly mapped out. If I can do anything else to make it right, there's nothing else to do. Like everything is there. Why isn't this working? Like what is going on? And I remember having a call with a friend like a week ago, and I was like, something is off. I was like, I feel like I'm out of alignment somewhere. And here's what's crazy, y'all. This is why intuition, your gut instinct, is so important. Because I was telling my girlfriend Erica, who's my COO for my business, I said, Erica, I said, I'm beginning to feel like every time I sit down, I can hear the spirit tell me, Nicole, you wasting your time. You wasting your time. You sitting here all day working. You are wasting your time. Okay. When you've been working on something for 2 years, when you've been putting a lot of energy and effort into this strategy plan, and when you've been putting all your hope and faith into this thing working out, and then you start hearing you wasting your time, it's like, oh no, that's unacceptable. We ain't wasting no time. We're going to make all this time count, and I'm going to need to hit this button and get this stuff to work. And the reality is it was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with my time? Like, where do I go? What do I do? And how do I make this work? So I ended up having this call with my mastermind group. And long story short, all these calls started coordinating with instructions, with insight, with counsel, with guidance, with this, that, and the other. And I ended up going on YouTube, and I said, let me look up Brendon Burchard, because he was one of the guys that I thought about. I was like, who are the people that I love their business models? And who are the people that if I can say they represent anything close to what I would ever want, they're there. So I go and I look up Brendon Burchard, and lo and behold, y'all, one of the first videos was how to know when to quit the wrong thing. And I was like, well, I'll be darned. Like, just the title. You didn't even have to listen to the message. It was just the title. And so I was like, okay, let me watch this video. So I watched the video once. I watched it for a second time. I watched it for a third time. I even started going to sleep on the video. And everything that it was saying, what he talked about was people, he's big on peak performance. And he talks about the fact that people who are peak performers, who are ultra successful people, meaning that everything that they do, it creates and produces some form of outcome. He said people who are peak performers learn to quit fast. They've learned not to attach themselves to things that are no longer working or out of alignment for what it is that they're called to do. He said they don't mull over it, they let it go. And he goes through all these strategic steps that they go through. He talks about businesses that they've created that they've had to let go, employees where they had to downsize and they had to let go, relationships that weren't working that they had to let go, all these different aspects of life. But he said, when you're first getting started in this world and you're learning about building your success and being consistent and being diligent, you don't want to become a quitter in the beginning because you're learning how to follow through. You're learning how to finish what you start. He said, but then there comes a point in time where you hit that momentum and that level of clarity where in the beginning, you don't know what you want. You're trying to search and seek. So you're getting into things and you're learning things and you're investing in things and you're putting yourself in those positions to evolve and develop as a person. So you're getting yourself in a position of habitual character development. I'm learning the right habits and building the right character to develop and become that person that I need to be in order to create this outcome. But once you hit that threshold of clarity where I know who I am, I know what I'm gifted at, I know what I'm called to do, I know what's my assignment, I know specifically where I am. You hit this threshold. When you get up here, quitting is essential. Like it is mandatory. It is a requirement. It's like, if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I'm getting all the signs that this ain't working, I can't worry about hurting your feelings. You got to go. Because the longer I leave you in my environment, the more cancer that is created, which means that you can begin to impose and invade into everything that I have had developed and protected all these years. And that cancer can spread and it can snuff out everything that I've done or snuff out everything that is being manifested. And so I don't have time to let this cancer linger. And just like a relationship, it's the same thing with a decision that is outside of alignment of what you are called to do. And so when he was saying this, I'm like, okay, it's not a bad thing to build something and have to call it quits. It's not a bad thing to have these relationships and they're not working, they're not in alignment, they're not going where you need to go, and you push them to the side and say, this isn't going to work. As a matter of fact, it is an honorable person who understands that when I see something that is not a fit, I cut it off immediately. And then I was reminded by the definition of decision. So here's what I've learned, and I've shared this before. This is point number 2. Point number 1 was just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to do it. But point number 2 is this, and this is just a statement, really. What I began to understand was this, y'all, and this is like my perfect explanation for what has happened for me for the past 8 to 10 years, right? I discovered that I had developed a skill that was burying my gift. Listen to me. Are y'all listening to me? I want you to write that down. I developed a skill that was burying my gift. I'm gonna say it again. I developed a skill that was burying my gift. Here's what I mean by that. Most of y'all know me from being an internet marketer. Can I tell y'all something? That ain't my assignment. I am called to speak, teach, and train. This is my assignment. Me being hidden behind a computer for days and weeks on end building sales funnels is not my assignment. That is somebody else's gift that is necessary to the assignment, but I am not that person called for that assignment. Y'all got me? So a lot of times, y'all, we can get so lost in the process of development of our gifts that we get lost in the details. So for example, you might be in a position where you are a musician, right? And you're at a point where you just want to sing. All I want to do is sing. But you're so caught up in where do I sing? How do I sing? What platforms to sing on? How do I book singing dates? How do I do this? Push that to the side, turn on YouTube and sing. Because see, when you get away from the gift, when you get away from the assignment, and when you begin to get lost in the details of things, what happens is now, and my friend told me this, he said, Nicole, you built a fortress that kept you safe, but it also kept you away from the things that are required of you to grow and to be in a place of exposure for your platform, right? You start getting lost in the crowd of things, and it's like all of a sudden you're drowning in the sea of confusion. Doubt kicks in, insecurities kick in. You begin to see time pass you by. No progression is being made. Financially, you're going into a pit. All these things are happening, and it's not because you don't have the gift and the gift can't succeed. It's because you buried the gift in pursuit of getting lost in the details of the how, right? Of the how. And one of the things that I've discovered over the years, y'all, is God wants to take care of the how. People don't, and people like my mastermind group calls me church girl. But here's why I love this whole spiritual walk, is because I don't need to know all the details. You know, when you're walking by faith, faith means that I'm telling God, yo, you tell me to go right, I'm going right. I don't know what's out there. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's up to you to make it work. And I can take my hands off of the how. It doesn't mean you don't have a plan or you don't operate in wisdom, right? I'm not telling y'all quit y'all job today, go start a YouTube channel, start singing. I'm not telling y'all that. What I am saying is I had to let go of all these details that I was trying to control, to release myself and have some time freedom. And what I mean by that is I'm not sitting down all day trying to check a bunch of boxes on my to-do list, but instead I have one assignment. That one assignment is to operate in my gift. That's it. Not figure out how I'm gonna do it, what I need to do. It's just to operate in that gift and then to be so in tune with what my next step needs to be. Not the next 15 steps, 20 steps, 30 steps. When you're a strategist like I am, if you come to me right now and say, Nicole, I want to do X, Y, and Z, I'm the kind of person, I'm going to give you the full blueprint in 15 minutes. Like, that's my gift. I know what to do, how to do it, where to go to get it, the resources you need to have. I can get you on the phone with 10 people that can help make it happen like yesterday. Like, that's my gift. So when it comes to business and production and execution and launching and doing, I can do that all day long. But that's not what God is telling me to do in this season in my personal assignment. He's saying, I don't need you to strategize. I don't need you to figure out the next 15 steps. I don't need you to make 10 phone calls. I don't need you to worry about the details. All I need you to do is take the next step. And guys, sometimes that next step is to call something quits. It's to cut something off that's been robbing you of your time. It's to remove certain people that's been robbing you of your energy. It's to get rid of certain things in your environment that's cluttering your opportunity to see straight, think straight, or have any sense of clarity. Is to cut something off. Because here's the thing, when you make a decision, when you decide to do something, if you break down the word decide, D-E-D stands for cut off. Side, just like suicide, homicide, is to kill off, right? So when you decide to do something, you're killing off and cutting off every other option, because it is only this one thing that I have decided to do, which means that when desperate times come, I'm not going back to what's safe. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to stay planted right here. Now, y'all hear me in this. I'm not telling y'all to quit y'all jobs and you don't have no money in savings and you saying Nicole said stand in faith and don't go get no job to pay your bills. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm not talking about monetarily. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is when you make a decision to do something and operate in that vein, right? Whatever it is for you, I don't know what that is for you. But please don't take this as I'm quitting my job tomorrow, even though I'm behind on my bills already and we just going to walk by faith. No. So you figure out how that applies to your life. I'm telling you what revelations I got, right? But I realized that when I was told in 2010, when I was told in 2014, when I was told in 2015, when I was told in 2016 to pursue this path, and I kept trying to find replacements to fill the gap that I didn't understand, it always led me right back to the starting line, because I wasn't being obedient to that gift and to that call and to that assignment on my life. And it took a lot of disappointments and burning myself out to finally be obedient to the call on my life. And I'm still learning, but I say all that to say, and here's the third thing, right? Here's the third thing. The third thing is you have to be so committed to being in alignment with your assignment that you become bold and uncompromisable about that thing manifesting in your life. And what I mean by that is you decide that it has to happen. It has to happen. And I'm going to endure what goes along with bringing that thing forth. So what does that mean? Okay, so I downsize my life. A lot of y'all, when it comes to finances, that's where you get stuck. Some of y'all need to downsize. Some of y'all need to reduce the cell phone bill, get rid of the cable, downsize your house, sell some stuff in your house, reduce car, whatever, right? There's a lot of things that we've had to give up. And even now, I'm still like, what can we get rid of? What can we cut off? Because there will be seasons where it will be like a famine in the land. As a matter of fact, this week I was reading 1 Kings about the story of Elijah. And a lot of people don't like the Bible, but the Bible's the best reference of wisdom that you can ever get. So the story of Elijah was, this man was of great faith that he told this woman Ahab, who wanted to kill him, that there was going to be like no rain in the land. Like he just had this very commanding, he knew like God's going to support me, but we're not going to let no rain fall on this land. It's going to be a drought, right? The woman wanted to kill him because he told her that was what was going to happen. There was going to be a drought in the land. And God told him, he said, go over to the brook Cherith and sit there by the brook. And I'm going to send ravens to feed you. So he had him go to like this brook is like a river or waterfall, whatever it is. And he said, I want you to go there and just sit there. And I want you to let the ravens feed you. So the ravens, birds came, dropped down food. I heard this pastor named Michael Todd. He said that was the first Uber Eats, right? Where the bird came and was dropping food so that Elijah could have food to eat. And God wanted him to just go there and sit still. And so here it is, this man running for his life. He just told the woman it's going to be a drought in her land. And now God is telling him to go to some random place and let the birds feed him, right? You talk about faith. And then he went to the brook and he was getting fed by the ravens, but then God let the brook dry up. The well ran dry. There was no more water for him to survive off of, which meant that the season for him to be there at that brook was over. It meant get up. It's time for you to move on to a new place. And God told him to go to a widow's house because the widow is going to feed him. Right? So he sent him on assignment to this woman's house, telling him the woman gonna feed you. But guess what? Elijah showed up to the woman's house and said, he told the woman, go get the oil, go get the flour, and go get what you have, and we're gonna produce some bread. And the woman said, I'm sorry, but we don't have nothing left. Me and my son was gonna eat this last little thing of bread, and then we were gonna die, right? So God told him, I'm gonna feed you. And then he get there, and the woman like, I don't know how God told you that, because we don't have nothing, right? But Elijah was like, go get some oil, go get every bottle that you have. We're going to fill this stuff up and we're going to produce some bread. I don't care what you say, bread going to come out of your house today. And they began to run to the neighbor's house and get as many different bottles as they could. And they were able to fill up all these bottles and all this bread where they had more than enough to eat, and was able to end up selling it for money or something like that. That came out of it. But the point is there was a command, there was an act, and there was a decision. Right? God commanded that he did something. He obeyed. He took the action on it. And that decision produced a result. God didn't care if there was a drought in the land. God didn't care if there was no food for you to eat. I'm going to send the birds to feed you. And I'm going to let the widow go. And she's going to produce all these bottles of oil. And y'all going to eat. You're going to be covered. It may look like a miracle, but you're going to be covered. And when I was reading that, I was like, you got to have such a level of faith that even when it looks impossible to happen, you sitting back like, God, all right, it's time for your miracle. You just tell me what to do. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to let you do the rest. And I learned a long time ago, God plus one is the majority. If there's one thing that I've experienced in my life, y'all, it's miracles. Like, people don't believe it, but I do, because I've lived it. I've lived 1,000 different lives, and I've seen a lot of miracles. Some of y'all may have seen my story this week on who I was at 13 compared to who I am today. Total different opposite. One of my friends just inboxed me on Instagram. He was like, Knick-Knack, this is AC. He said, I just read your story. He was like, man, I think back on those days, good times and bad times, because we lost a lot of friends that got killed, murdered, suicide, all these different things. He said, I wanted to people know Look, this is bad. He's like, I want to do people know you would have put your hands on somebody real fast. I was a fighter back in the day. And I said, they have no idea. People have no idea the temperament that I had at back in those days and the kind of person that I was. I would fight in a heartbeat, right? I'm a miracle in and of itself of what can become of a person that is just in God's way, like in the fullness of God's transformation. And so I say all that to say that point number 3 is you have to get to such a level of commitment and decision that you're like, it got to happen. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm not going to worry about how it's, what's going to happen. I'm going to expect it to happen. And that's why people talk about the subconscious mind and, how you really produce your thoughts and the law of attraction and manifestation. Like, you hear people with the universal language, it's the same thing. I expect to win, which means that I'm committed to doing the things that are going to help me to win, which means that I got to win. It doesn't matter how many little smoke and mirrors come up and say this thing is not going to work. It doesn't matter that everybody looks like they're passing you by and everybody else is having success and everybody else is winning. It doesn't matter how many people tell you you being left behind. You ain't moving fast enough. You've been sitting around talking about you're going to do all this stuff for years and nothing happened. Let me tell y'all something. One day is like 1,000 years for God and 1,000 years is like one day. God does not operate according to time. He operates according to eternity. If there is a call and an assignment on your life, it has to manifest because it's God's order. If there's something that he said he's going to do in and through you, as long as you are surrendered to that thing, it has to happen. So even if it looks like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years and passed by and it didn't happen, when God makes it happen, it looks like you never skipped a beat. It's a way that he restores all those years. And all of a sudden, everybody looking at you like, how that happened? How did you get that opportunity? How you connected to those people? How you produce that kind of business? How you make that kind of income? How you getting all this, publicity? How you getting all this? Because when God puts you in position and he puts you on these platforms, he can take the things that are impossible with men and make it possible through God. So I say this to encourage y'all that if it's something you're supposed to walk away from. I have been a quitter my whole life. And when I became a business owner, I was like, I am not going to be a quitter. But there's nothing wrong with quitting the wrong thing. You got to know when you're out of alignment of your assignment and when your spirit is telling you, yo, it's time, we got to walk away. Like, this is not a good fit. It may be a great opportunity, but the wrong opportunity for you. So ladies and gentlemen who are watching this, I just want to encourage y'all that if you've been mulling over what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what to do it with, and where to go, and who to call, and how to set it up, and what networking events to show up to, and do this, and blah, 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 blah. Let me say this. God isn't saying no because he doesn't want you to win. God is saying no because he don't want you to be another one of them. You can't be like everybody else. Your journey is specific to you, and it's time to make a decision to pursue your God-ordained, anointed, appointed, aligned path. So I hope this helps y'all today. This is the story of my new journey. What's coming next? I don't know. It's a lot that I would love to say is next. But I'm in a season of I'm okay with just knowing what I got to do for today. And are there things that I'm working on and doing? And yeah, but I'm still very sensitive if that is the assigned action or if that is the distracted action. So I'm going to close out on that one. Share this video if you feel it will be beneficial to other people. I hope y'all have a phenomenal Saturday. I will say stay tuned in to the journey. Stay tuned in for what's to come because I am going to be really talking to people about how to really leverage your platform, your purpose, and your gifts in a way that can create the greatest level of impact. And we're working on what that's going to be looking like, what that packaging is going to be connected to. So have a good Saturday, y'all, with my chiquita banana. Look, my chiquita banana, chiquita banana. So y'all have a good Saturday. I'm going to wrap up. My kids are ready to go do something. It is spring break. And so this is my Saturday wisdom nuggets for y'all. All right. Book coming soon. So stay tuned. Bye, you guys. See you later.